Hello everyone and welcome to another Tuesday evening here at our YouTube channel. And as usual, let's do the introductory spill. If you're new to the
recording in
channel,
progress.
And as usual, if you're new to the website, and if you're interested in the wisdom of Kabbalah, you can always go to Kabbalah.info and check out our courses there at the KABU Academy, where you can find like-minded people from all over the planet, probably including your country as well. So, all right, so if you'd like to study, if you're new and you don't have an idea of what we're studying, these lessons may be a little bit, maybe a little bit, I don't know, not well understood because it's a bit advanced or intermediate, let's say. All right, but you can find all the first semester, second semester, and third semester lessons archived. And if you're interested in the wisdom of Kabbalah, and if you want to get a taste, you can always take a look and take a sneak preview and watch them and see how you go. All right, then. In the meantime, we are going to get back on our new topic. And last week I did say we're going to start with reinforcing ourselves with there's none else besides him. All right, so this is a new topic we're starting. So let's see what the Kabbalists have written for us, and then we'll see if we've got any questions, and we'll try to decipher an answer from texts. Okay. So let's forward. Okay, Kurt, you got to turn the microphone off. Okay. So let's start off. This is from Baal Islam Shemati number 1. And Shemati number 1 is there's none else besides him. Some of you may know. It is written, there's none else besides him. Him here being the creator, right? This means that there is no other force in the world that has the ability to do anything against him. And what one sees, that there are things in the world that deny the upper household. The reason is that this is his will. This is deemed a correction called the left rejects and the right pulls closer, meaning that what the left rejects is considered a correction. This means that there are things in the world that, to begin with, aim to divert a person from the right way, and by which he is rejected from holiness. The benefit from the rejections is that through them, a person receives a complete need and desire for the Creator to help him, since he sees that otherwise he is lost. All right, so this is actually nice for our work. Let's go slowly and read sentence by sentence. It's written, there's none else besides him. So none else besides him means that the Creator actually does everything. All right, we feel like in this world we're independent. We feel like we think, we make decisions, and we sometimes even feel like we can do whatever we want. Okay. However, that's just a delusion. Okay, because we can seemingly do whatever we want, but nothing seems to go the way we want. Okay, so what kind of a situation is that? Right? On the one hand, I feel like I can do whatever I want. On the other hand, nothing really works out. So as you can see, everything is taken by, is controlled by this system, a divine system, where we sometimes feel like we've got control, but the world is always showing us that actually we have no control. And this is just a system that's working. And because this is a functioning system, it's got set rules. And these set rules cannot change. Like laws of nature, you can't change laws of nature. So this is why Kabbalists are saying this, and there's none else besides him. It means that there is a system in place and there's nothing we can really do to change that. So that's a bit funny and weird, because then what's our role in the system if everything is set in the first place? That's a question. We'll get around to that later. This means that there's no other force in the world that has the ability to do anything against him. So whatever the Creator created and whatever system he set, this is running, and there's nobody in the world or anywhere else that can do anything about it. Neither can we, funnily enough. And what one sees, that there are things in the world that deny the upper household. The reason is that this is his will. Well, this basically means that we don't see the creator doing everything. We don't see everything under the control of the creator. So on the one hand, he's operating the system where everything is like pretty much fixed up. On the other hand, we are given the sensation, the feeling that we can do things as we want. So this is kind of denying the creator's providence. All right. So there's this kind of contradiction here, seemingly contradictory from our perspective, because we feel like we can do whatever we want. We feel like we're free to do the things we want to do. On the other hand, the Kabbalist is saying, nah, you can't do anything you want. Everything that you seemingly want is actually being given to you. So whatever you're going to want anyway, the system is just bringing to you what you're going to want in the first place, what you're going to think in the first place. So all of our desires, thoughts, everything really that makes us move is all given to us. And this is what we are, kind of like a hardware with a software in it, just like a computer. So our body is the hardware, and it works on the software, which is desired to receive pleasure for myself. So if I'm this software and everything that I want to do is to fulfill myself, this is already a sold game, because this is how this computer works, and it's not going to work any other way. So when it says there's none else besides him, it's talking about everything included in the system, including us. We cannot function in any other way except to receive pleasure, or to want to receive pleasure. At the moment, currently, that's our situation. So despite the fact that we feel we're free, we're actually never free, because our nature is just fixed. This is deemed a correction called the left rejects and the right pulls closer, meaning that what the left rejects is considered a correction. This means that there are things in the world that, to begin with, aim to divert a person from the right way, and by which he is rejected from holiness. So whenever we start studying the wisdom of Kabbalah and want to progress, there's always something which is trying to kind of like take us off the road, like get us off track. And this is only natural, because I can only determine what the right path or the right track is if I have a measurement or some kind of deviation from what I think the correct path is, right? So if I don't have a deviation, if I don't have some kind of positive, negative, or a path and straying off the path, if I don't have these impressions in my study, in my work, then I can't really adjust myself. So a plane also can't just fly in one straight line. It's got to kind of like move about a little bit, so it can make sure that the measurement as to where it's going is always correct. Same with a missile, or like a rocket system or whatever. It has to have some kind of measurement. And to do the measurement, you sometimes got to go off track. Okay, so you're kind of like going in and out and in and out of the situation. And that allows you to get an idea of what's going on. And it allows you to give you some kind of measurement as to where you are and where you want to get to. The benefit from the rejections is that through them, a person receives a complete need and desire for the Creator to help him, since he sees that otherwise he is lost. So all of the deviations that we're going through in life, the ups and downs, or whatever, you can also say the ups and downs, is allowing us to understand what we can and what we can't do. So by actually studying the wisdom of Kabbalah and understanding the purpose of life, and doing everything I can to get to that purpose of life, and by working at it, I'm going through ups and downs and all kinds of deviations. This allows me to figure out what my abilities are. What can I do and what I can't do? What is beyond me and what is in my power to do? Okay, so all of these things become clear for a person. And this is why they say there's none else besides him, because we should come to a situation after everything that we've done. We should come to a situation and say, well, it doesn't feel like I did anything myself. This is also true in our corporeal life. Sometimes if you look back at your life and you think about it from today, all right? So if I'm, for example, thinking about the things I did in the past, it sometimes feels like, why did I do all that? okay? Because you can't really relate to it. It's like in the past, and it doesn't feel like you've done it. It feels like you've just been through a process, but it doesn't really feel like, yeah, you know, you did that kind of stuff. So in this life as well, we have that sensation. This is why sometimes we say life goes by like a dream, because it doesn't feel like you did anything. It just feels like you flowed in and went through the process. And this is just how it is. Okay. And this is why we say that there's nothing else besides him, because we're going through a process. And what we have to do while we're going through that process is to observe, right? Observe. And we need to come to some kind of recognition as to what our current state is. Why is that important? Because by going through impressions, we can begin to want our next state, our next developed phase, that is. All right. Any questions, you can always shoot them through. We'll see what we can do from the excerpts. Now, these articles, like I said, these excerpts from these articles, they're not easy, all right? But I'm sure we can all get something from it. The second excerpt is from Zohar, Introduction to the Book of Zohar, on the night of the bride, item number 138. So let's see what it is. It is a law that the creature cannot receive disclosed evil from the Creator. For it is a flaw in the glory of the Creator for the creature to perceive him as an evildoer. For this is unbecoming of the complete operator. Hence, when one feels bad, oh, this is good. So hence, when one feels bad, denial of the Creator's guidance lies upon him, and the superior operator is concealed from him to that same extent. This is the greatest punishment in the world. Thus, the sensation of good and evil in relation to his guidance brings with it the sensation of reward and punishment. For one who exerts to not part from faith in the Creator is rewarded even when he tastes a bad taste in providence. And if he does not exert, he will have a punishment because he is separated from faith in the Creator. Let's read this one again. This is a rather important little excerpt here, because it's building on how we perceive the Creator and how we're supposed to feel what we feel during the study. Let's read it again. It is a law that the creature cannot receive disclosed evil from the Creator. This is why the Creator is also concealed. Now, if you think about it, if the Creator was revealed and we were constantly getting beaten up by the Creator, none of us would love the Creator at all. None of us would even consider loving him. A lot of people still, despite the fact that the Creator is completely hidden, hates him. All right, why? Because we just cannot understand why life is so terrible and chaotic, and it does so much to hurt us. All right, so even, a lot of people become atheists because they just they can't just imagine a creator or a God creating a reality and just bringing all of this pain and suffering onto us. Okay, so this is why it's an important principle that the Creator will never, ever openly disclose that he is doing something bad to us. For it is a flaw in the glory of the Creator for the creature to perceive him as an evildoer. For this is unbecoming of the complete operator. Hence, when one feels bad, denial of the Creator's guidance lies upon him, and the superior operator is concealed from him to that same extent. This is the greatest punishment in the world. So the reason we're feeling bad, this is a nice sentence we need to go over. When one feels bad, the denial of the Creator's guidance lies upon him, and the superior operator is concealed from him to that same extent. This is the greatest punishment in the world. So whenever we feel bad, it's actually not that the Creator is doing bad to us. It's actually that we are disconnected from the Creator completely. And this disconnection is what's causing us harm. Okay. And this is why when it's talking about the creator being concealed, it's not really the creator wants to conceal himself or he is concealed. It's because we're so egoistic that the only thing we ever think about is us, ourselves, that is, right? So the only thing anyone always thinks about is self-benefit. When I am so consumed, it is impossible for me to feel anyone outside myself. No one, not family, not friends, not your pets, nothing. The only thing a person really feels is how they feel. And this self-consumption is the thing that's causing us all the harm, because we're actually just closing ourselves off to the creator and everything that's coming from the creator. This is our actually oppositeness in form to the creator. The creator is full on bestowal, we're full on reception. And when we're only consumed with ourselves, just thinking about ourselves, me all day long, and then you don't have the ability to feel anything else outside of you. And this is why our life is so shallow. It's narrow, it's dark, and it's just unfulfilling because we can't really connect with anything else. So the sensation of good and evil in relation to his guidance brings with it the sensation of reward and punishment. So this is really hell, basically. The way we exist here in our current form is complete disconnection from the creator. And this is what basically punishment is. And also think about it. Even if you're rich, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, as soon as you get what you want, the pleasure and the desire, they cancel each other out. So there is no way anybody is going to be happy in this world, even if you're rich or poor, it doesn't really matter. So that whole concept of having wealth is just, it's like a little dream. What does it really even give you? You may feel secure for a while, but hey, you could end up dead tomorrow, out of the blue. There is really no security. We try to build our lives around some kind of fake ideal or idea of what we think security is, when in fact, none of us have any security. We don't even know if we're going to see the end of this lesson or not. We just don't, right? So life for us is, you can have anything, everything, or you may not have anything at all. But the more you have, the less taste you get from things, simply because everything is available to you. And there's no desire, there's no big desire to get something additional because you already have everything. And this is why we have a lot of problems in life, even if we have things, okay? Because it just doesn't feel like there's taste in it. So this punishment that we're talking about here is this lack of connection between us and the creator, because the purpose of life is to connect with the creator. So whenever I'm not getting or moving towards that purpose, I'm always going to feel myself bad. It's just how it is. We'll always have problems. We'll always feel unsatisfied. We'll always feel like there's something missing in life. Even if you get the things you want, you're always going to feel like it's a half job. It's just not going to be 100%. Even if one thing is 100%, the next thing won't be. And because we're moving from one fulfillment to another, there's always going to be this rat race, going in circles and circles and circles. And you're thinking, what am I all doing this for? Right. So that's how it is. So basically, all the evil is in our perception of reality in this world, where the creator seemingly doesn't exist in our perception. And that's just how it is. All right. So we'll have to get out of that state if we want to have a happy fulfillment, or happy fulfilled life. So let's move on to the third exit. If there are any questions, just wave at me, okay? Because I'm seeing. All right. One has no choice but to direct all the present and future moments to be offered and presented to his great name. One who rejects a moment before him for it is difficult, displays his folly openly. For all the worlds and all the times are not worthwhile for him, because the light of his face is not clothed in the changing times and occasions, although one's work certainly changes because of them. This is why, thanks to our Holy Fathers, faith and confidence above reason have been prepared for us, which one uses in the tougher times effortlessly and tirelessly. All right, so it says one has no choice but to direct all the present and future moments to be offered and presented to his great name. Obviously, the Creator doesn't need anything from us. What it's trying to tell us here is that all of us need to direct our efforts to the purpose of life. If you don't move towards the purpose of life, you're just moving towards your death day by day. All right, that's what you're getting closer to. So the whole idea of the purpose of life is to put your efforts so we can attain that higher level of consciousness. One who rejects a moment before him, for it is difficult, displays his folly openly. For all the worlds and all the times are not worthwhile for him, because the light of his face is not clothed in the changing times and occasions, although one's work certainly changes because of them. Basically, what we have to do is keep moving. Now, this is a very important thing. Sometimes people, when we're studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, because we're going through ups and downs, they get despaired. All kinds of despair, lack of motivation, don't want to do anything, please don't touch me. Okay, don't touch me, don't call me. Okay, just leave me alone. We go through these moments, okay? But when we're doing these things, we're actually delaying ourselves, all right? And there's a very, very easy and practical way to get out of these situations, and that is to stick your head in an environment, and then the environment can help you out. Okay, there's no other way, really. So for us to move forward all the time, we have to look for the right environment where we can advance ourselves by overcoming these, I don't know, these lack of desirable situations that we're going through. Okay, so what have they designed for us? This is why, thanks to our Holy Fathers, faith and confidence above reason have been prepared for us, which one uses in the tougher times effortlessly and tirelessly. So the Kabbalists from the previous generations have designed a study framework for us. They've called it above reason. Sometimes when we're growing up, well, not sometimes, all the time actually, when kids are growing up, they're always going above reason, because kids don't have a reason yet. Okay, so they have to go above reason. How are they going to go above reason? They're going to look at their parents and they're going to assume that what their parents are doing is correct, assuming they've got good parents who know what they're doing. Okay, if they don't, that's a problem. Okay, but if you think about it, kids are always relying on their parents so that they can grow up with their help. Okay, now when we're growing in spirituality, we have to do the same thing towards the Kabbalists, because we don't really know what spirituality is. We don't know what the Creator is. We don't really know what they're talking about. Even this excerpt here, it's like 6 lines, about 3-4 sentences. If you read it through and through and through, you're thinking, what is he talking about? Okay, it's not really clear at all. So there are some things in life which we're not, we don't understand at the moment. So when we don't understand them at the moment, we take the explanation of someone who's been there before, who's taken the path, who's done this, and who's guiding us. That's called above reason. Why? Because currently my reasoning is not able to process what we're studying or what I'm supposed to be getting from this article. So the Kabbalists want to give us a recommendation. They want to direct us. They want to guide us as to how we can get to spirituality. So if we want to take their advice, we've got to go above reason. We cannot go within reason, because we don't have anything in spirituality which is right now in our reason. So this is why we've got to trust them like kids trust their parents. Okay, and if we go above reason, it's effortless and easy, just like it's easier for kids to grow up, because they go, oh yeah, dad's doing it this way, so I'll do it as well. Okay, easy, right? Oh, mom's doing it this way, so I'm going to do it this way as well. Easy peasy. All right, so you don't have to think about it. This is how they're doing it. Monkey see, monkey do business. All right, so the same kind of thing here. So the Kabbalists are saying, listen, the road is going up and down, and we're going to have those ups and downs, but this is how you can handle it. Okay. So what's the number one advice of Kabbalists? Stay on the path, okay? Don't leave, okay? Don't leave. This is the number one advice. Why? Because look, same in life as well. Whenever you want to get something done in life, especially if it's like something with a, it's like a big deal, or you want to attain something great, right? You're always going to have obstacles in front of you. That's just how it is. Even if you want to, I don't know, even if you're going on a diet to lose weight, it's a drama, because you've got to cut down on the good things you like to eat. It's not easy. Everything is a problem, even the small things in life. Okay, because you're thinking, no, I need to have that chocolate. No, but you can't, because it's 500 calories. You're going to go overboard. Okay, so life is always, no matter what you do, what you try to attain, what you try to achieve, it's going to bring something. And if you want to get something done, in reality, you've got to restrict yourself. Okay, and you've got to do things in a disciplined way. You've got to be consistent. You got to be disciplined, consistent, and you got to keep doing it. And the success comes if you're consistently doing it. It doesn't come any other way. It's not a matter of being an Einstein. It's a matter of consistently doing it. Okay, that's it. So the Kabbalists say, listen, just do it and keep doing it. Okay, and if you keep walking, you will develop. And that's just how it is. It's how it is with anything in life. From dieting to building a business, whatever you want to do. If you just stay consistent and you keep moving and you don't give up, that's the only time things will work. And same here. All right. It's the same kind of principle. So let's read number 4. This is from Baal Islam's letter number 18. First thing in the morning, when he rises from his sleep, he should sanctify the first moment with dvekut with him. Pour out his heart to the Creator to keep him throughout the 24 hours of the day, so that no idle thought will come into his mind, and he will not consider it impossible or above nature. Indeed, it is the image of nature that makes an iron partition, and one should cancel nature's partitions that he feels. Rather, first, he must believe that nature's partitions do not cut off from him. Afterwards, he should pray from the bottom of his heart, even for something that is above his natural desire. Understand this always, even when forms that are not of holiness traverse you, and they will instantly stop when you remember. See that you pour out your heart, that henceforth the Creator will save you from cessations of dvekut with him. Gradually, your heart will grow accustomed to the Creator and will yearn to adhere to him in truth, and the Lord's desire will succeed by you. This is really nice, and it's very relevant for us as well. It's also giving us a nice clue about how we can get ourselves out of a mess whenever we get into it. Now let's read it again. First thing in the morning. So when's first thing in the morning is obviously when we're waking up for the morning lesson, right? First thing in the morning. The things we do for the Creator. Right then, when he rises from his sleep, he should sanctify the first moment with dvekut with him. Pour out his heart to the Creator to keep him throughout the 24 hours of the day, so that no idle thought will come into his mind, and he will not consider it impossible or above nature. So the first thing we got to remember when we get up is actually the purpose of life, what we're doing, why we're getting up, okay, what we want to attain from all of this. and why we need the Creator's help. Okay. Indeed, it is the image of nature that makes an iron partition, and one should cancel nature's partition that he feels. So that image of nature is our egoism. Okay, so our egoism, our egoistic nature is what separates us from the Creator. And what we want to do is cancel that, cancel our egoism. Rather, first, he must believe that nature's partitions do not cut off from him. Afterwards, he should pray from the bottom of his heart, even for something that is above his natural desire. So even though we feel we're disconnected from the Creator because of our egoism, it says that that's how we feel, but the Creator is never really disconnected from us. Okay, so we feel like we're disconnected from the Creator because of our nature, self-consumption, but that's just how it is from our perspective. From the Creator's perspective, he's always with us, okay, right next to us. Afterwards, he should pray from the bottom of his heart, even for something that is above his natural desire. Understand this always, even when forms that are not of holiness traverse you, then they will instantly stop when you remember. So it doesn't matter really, doesn't really matter what kind of a desire you get. Okay, because all of our desires, we're all getting them from the outside. We're not really developing desires from within. All of the desires we have, they just, it's like they come to us from the environment. All of a sudden, you're sitting down in your sofa and all of a sudden you want something. Where is that coming from? It's not really coming from within. It's just coming from the outside because we're all included in this reality. So everybody's desires are just all over the place moving. Right? So all of us have desires. They come to us randomly, whenever, and it doesn't really matter. It's not the point. That's not the thing. It's not the desire that's really bad. What's bad is we get disconnected from the Creator. So he's saying, listen, even if you get some silly desire, something like, crazy, just don't worry about it. Just connect back with the Creator. Turn to the Creator. Okay. And the minute you turn to him, that thing will disappear. Try it. Okay. Try it and see. You'll see that it works. Okay. You'll get funny desires. And then you think to myself, oh my God, what am I wanting? Okay. And then you think about the Creator. And then you think, oh, it's so good. Okay. It's so good. Why? Because you've directed yourself with your intention to connect with the Creator. What did you do? You moved from the desire to the intention. All right. So think about it. Try it. Try it. You'll get funny desires tomorrow. Trust me. Okay. And then when you do, turn to the Creator and say, oh, listen, how you doing? Forget what I want. What do you want? Okay. So then you can ask the Creator for some help. And then that'll kind of like set you straight again. Then down the line, a few hours later, maybe even a few minutes later, you'll have another desire. Then you get back to the Creator as well. Now, why is that important? Because you're getting desires and thoughts, all right, that are not connected to our spiritual work. But that's actually a good thing because it allows you to then turn to the Creator. So every time you're kind of like getting off track, you can turn to the Creator, get back. Every time you're off track, turn to the Creator and get back. And all of these exits and getting in, I'm getting out, getting in, getting in, getting out, getting in, getting out. All of these things, as I'm doing them, the frequency will get like tightened up. Okay. So all of a sudden, I'll be having, how shall I say? The amount of ins and outs I go through will be faster and it will come to a state where I won't go out anymore. You understand what I mean? Okay. So first of all, let's say you have a desire for something. Okay. And then you're thinking, oh, that's not, that's not a desire I want to follow. Let's get back to the Creator again, let's say, something like that, okay? And then after a while, so sometimes it takes a while, you have another desire that kind of gets you off track, then you want to kind of get back in line with the Creator. Again, this is why we're turning to the Creator, right? We're like renewing the intention, renewing while we're studying, while we're living what we want to attain in life. So there is a time when I'm going from one desire to another, and the distance or the amount of time from one funny desire to the next weird desire is, is large, right? It's a big time gap, okay? As we get better and better, we're going to get a lot of thoughts, which are moving much faster, okay? So I'm going to have one weird desire and another one, another one, another one, but I'm always going to kind of like come back and come back and come back and come back. And then it won't matter how many desires I have or how many states I'm going through in a short amount of time. It could be many. The thing is, because of the frequency, I'm going to be staying on the line all the time. Does that make sense? Okay, just think about it for a moment, right? So as the frequency is going to be more, but I'm going to be, like more focused. All right. And what does that depend on? How we pour our hearts out to the Creator. So as we move forward more and more in life, then in our spiritual work, that is, right, the closeness, or how I go back to the thought of the Creator, should be faster. So I exit, and if I'm a new student, going back to the Creator may take some time. Okay, I might find myself hours and hours thinking about stupid things in life. Okay, and then you think, oh, wait a minute, what's the meaning of life? Okay, so all of a sudden your whole day's gone by in front of, I don't know what you're doing, YouTube or social media or whatever, because your mind's all over the place. Okay, and that's how it happens when you're new. But when you advance more and more, you begin to catch yourself. You say, oh, wait a minute, that's not related to the Creator. Oh, that's not related, bang, bang, bang. So all of a sudden, when every time you get a thought that's not related, you can go back in, bang, bang. And then it becomes like, this table tennis match with the Creator. And it's just like you hitting here, hitting here, boom, 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 boom. And it's just nuts. Okay, but this is how you like build that relationship. So slowly, this is why sometimes a lot of people complain. They say, I'm going through the day and it's like, I never remember the Creator. You won't. Okay, you won't. By the time you're constantly in touch with the Creator all the time and you're getting back to Him, it's going to take time. It's just how it is. Why? Because we're also, when we're growing up, right, we're children. From childhood to growing, we don't remember many things in life. Why? Because our emotions are not developed yet. So in spirituality, when we're like making this some kind of an intellectual exercise with just a small faint dot in the heart, our emotions, spiritual, are not developed yet. So if I don't have a developed emotional state, I can't remember things. I can only remember them if I can relate to an emotional state. Okay. So this is why, as we move forward in spirituality, we're going to get more emotional, because we're going to feel more things in our vessels. And then as I'm remembering more of those emotional fluctuations I went through, then it's easier to get back. All right. So this is why it takes time. It takes time. Okay. Any dramas? Any questions? One question. Okay. There is a question. Patricia's asking, is that why we get crazy thoughts? Yeah, we do get crazy thoughts. Okay, we get crazy thoughts about a lot of things. Okay, you get crazy desires and crazy thoughts. That's right. We need to kind of like refocus them on the goal. And the more we advance, we should be able to pull them back to the Creator much faster. Okay, because they're not really, the crazy thoughts and the crazy desires we get are not really in order to harm us. They're not really in order to, like, get us off track and that's it. It's not for that. The whole idea is for us to use the environment so I can get back in touch with the Creator, because the ins and outs are the things that give me the discernments. This is what I just tried to express a minute ago. We can't remember what we've been through unless we relate it at an emotional level. Okay, so the emotions that we go through, they need to accumulate so we can kind of like grow the vessel. And by going through all these stupid thoughts and desires, seemingly silly and stupid, right? They're not really. They're just we're a desire to receive pleasure, right? So, so we're all looking for pleasure, and that's just how it is. okay? But it allows me to then discern what pleasure and for why, okay? So this is why to want things and to have these thoughts of, desires is really good, because we can then make discernments. All right, I don't know if I managed to explain that, but it takes a little bit of time until we grow up, because of this, like I said, of this emotional history we need to develop within. Okay, until we have this emotional archive. Are we talking about desires within our work, on the path, or corporeal desires? All of them. What difference does it make? Let's say I'm working and I have a corporeal desire that comes to me as well. I can think about that as well. I can say, well, what do I really need this? Okay, do I need to chase this desire? Is this a necessity? Do I have to have it, or is this just, I don't really need this? Okay, all of the desires that come to us, all the thoughts that come to us, can really help us to clarify stuff. And by clarifying them, actually, by thinking about them and identifying whether we need them or not for our lives and our spiritual lives, obviously, then we can kind of like get rid of them. We can kind of say, well, wait a minute, this is not important. I don't really need this. Okay, that allows you to build the mind on top of the desire, because then you can say, this desire I don't really need. This one, yep, I need that one. And there are some desires that are really not related to our spiritual path, but we feel like, I really need to get this done. Okay, well, I don't know, but I need to get this out of my system. Okay, we have desires like that as well. It comes to a person. There's nothing you can do about it either. Okay, and sometimes they happen as well. And sometimes you feel like, what? This has nothing to do with spirituality, but I'm just going to go nail this and come back. Okay, it's just how it is. All right, so we go through a lot of stuff, happens, but it allows us to grow up. So I can't really say anything is bad, but everything is for the good if we can think about it, if we can discern it, if we can see we're strong enough to go against it, or if I'm not strong enough, it's also good to see that I'm weak, that I couldn't handle myself. It's also good to see that as well. And we'll get a lot of those as well. A lot of them. Okay. Serena's asking, what if I know I'm having resistance to connecting, but then I also have resistance to praying to correct it also? What do I do then? Well, that's a good question. What should I do? I don't want to connect. Okay. And I also don't want to pray to connect. Well, if you don't want to connect, okay, that's fine. None of us really do. Okay, first of all. Okay, no, none of us really want to connect. It's against our nature completely. What I have to do is, through the study, I have to understand the necessity to connect. All right. Because if I can only overcome the emotion with an understanding of necessity. For example, it's like this. It's like, I don't want to connect with, I don't want to connect with the, let's say, fisherman. Okay. But I need the fish to survive. Let's say I'm eating fish. All right. So I have to like weigh it out. How important is it to connect? Because if I don't have a connection with the outside world, I can't look after myself. In corporeality, right? If I don't connect with the outside world, somehow I won't be able to get a job. I won't be able to look after myself. I can't live my life. So then I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. I have to make all kinds of connection in my corporeal life to stay alive. So it's only logical that I have to have some connection in my spirituality to stay alive. Doesn't that make sense? All right. I have to kind of like, I have to have it somehow from experience and from what I'm observing from the world make sense to me. Otherwise, nobody wants to connect. A lot of the times we don't want to go to work, right? Who wants to go to work? Most of the time we don't want to go to work. Okay. But we feel, well, we have to go to work, right? Because who's going to pay the bills? I guess somebody's going to pay the bills. And that's basically it. So we do a lot of things in life that we don't want to do, but we understand that we have to do. Spirituality is kind of like that. I don't want to connect. I don't want to pray to connect. I don't want to even, I don't even want to go there. But if I understand that this is the path and this is how we're going to do it, then, the understanding can convince me. Okay. And even if my understanding is a bit slow, because initially we're all slow, by the way, when it comes to connection. Okay. We're all like, retarded when it comes to connection. It's like, it's completely against us. But even for that, we can pray. And if you don't, if you don't feel like praying, you got to stick yourself in an environment. Because the only thing that really helps us at the end of the day is the environment that convinces us that we need to connect, just like we connect in our corporeal lives. This is how I mostly look at it. I look at my corporeal life and I understand I need to connect with people to get jobs done. It's just how it is. I can't do everything by myself. It's just not going to happen. So then I'm looking at my spiritual life and I'm thinking, well, same here. If I want to get this spiritual job done, I have to connect with people. I have to take the advice of the Kabbalists and do it. Like I take the advice of the doctor and I take the advice of a Kabbalist here. And I do it by force. I don't like taking advice from the doctor either. But, I've got to do it. Same here. I think it's just a matter of chewing it a little bit and understanding that this is how life works. Life cannot work without connection. If we understand it, then at least we can, even if we don't want to, we can stick around. Okay, even if you don't want to connect and you don't want to do anything in that direction, you'll say, well, I'll just stick around with the guys. I want to do it, but I'll stick around. And in time, the environment will influence you, as it always does. Marlon's asking, the only difference between spiritual corporal desires are the intention and who benefits. No, the creator is the creator of all. Well, look, at the end of the day, all of our desires and thoughts are coming from the creator, right? So we just have to worry about the intention, and that's it. But if I have a desire for something, I can't just turn my eye to it. It just doesn't work that way, especially if it's a strong desire and it keeps bugging you. Right? Because we get desires like that. They keep bugging you. They're like, they're like in your head all the time. And they're constant. It's like this little worm inside your head and saying, hey, come on, let's get this done. And you're thinking, but we've got the morning lesson tomorrow. I know, but we've got the morning lesson every morning, So there's always something in your head that's going to be, trying to pull you right or left. It's just how it is. Okay. And like I said, sometimes you just have to go and take care of it and then, just keep hammering along. There's not much you can do. At the end of the day, we're a desire to receive, and pleasure is always going to move us around. We're mystified by this thing called pleasure. It's like, it's like magic, all of a sudden your mind, it's like you're hypnotized because you got this desire in your head, and then the pleasure you think you're going to get from it, and then it just takes your mind from everything that's worthwhile thinking about, and you're mindlessly floating towards that pleasure. It just happens. What can you do? It's okay is asking, once we recognize that there's none else besides him, how can friends help each other to overcome heavy resistance? Well, look, if we came to the understanding, the recognition there's none else besides him, we wouldn't have much problems. Okay, because then we understand and recognize there's none else besides him. The problem is we don't recognize that there is none else besides him, which is what the first excerpt was talking about. In the first excerpt from Shamati 1, it said, look, it says here, it's written, there's none else besides him. This means that there is no other force in the world that has the ability to do anything against him. Okay. And what one sees, that there are things in the world that deny the upper household. The reason is that this is his will. It means that, look, we can read about there's none else besides him, we can study it, we can think about it and so on, but there's always going to be something that's happening to us during the day. We're going to forget about there's none else besides him. It's just, we're just going to leave it aside. We're going to forget about it. And this is what the Creator wants. Why? Like I said a minute ago, it allows you to go in and out of a state. So I'm in a state where there's none else besides me. And then I'm back into a state where there's none else besides him. So I'm going between these two states all the time. We can't just stay in there's none else besides him all the time forever, because we're always going to have downs, ups and downs. We're always going to have them until the end of the path. Okay. So initially, if we have this recognition in spirituality, none of us would have a problem in the first place. But because we do not yet, we have to strengthen ourselves in there's none else besides him. And that can only be done with the environment. Okay, so this is why the morning lessons are really important. You know, morning lessons, hanging out with the group, connecting with the guys as much as we can, even if we don't want to, you know, like Serena said, we just have to integrate into our lives this thing called turning to the Creator whenever I'm stuck. All right, so whenever I'm stuck, I've got to go to the Creator and say, listen, you got to give me a hand. You got to give me a hand. You got to help me out, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes, well, a lot of the times, actually, he won't answer, okay? But don't be despaired, okay? Don't be despaired. Why? Because until we really want something to, now, until we really, really have a desire for something, it takes time. I can't just get a reply from the Creator every time I ask for something if the desire is not ripe. And also for me to come to a ripe desire, it just needs to cook a little bit. Just like we don't give our kids whatever they want every day. You know, we let them cook a little bit. Why do we do that? We let them discern what they really want. If you keep giving them what they want all the time, they just turn into some dumb piece of meat. But if you keep restricting them a little bit, or you play around with them, well, why do you want that? What about this one? Why don't you want that one? Well, do you think this is really good for you? By, you know, evoking in them this thing, why? It allows them to make discernments, to think, clarify, and the Creator is doing the same thing to us. So even if we're praying and not getting answers, it doesn't mean we're not getting answers. It means we're getting the ability to well, sit down and think about it a little bit more. That's the opportunity we're getting. All right. So a lot of people, like I know, they get despaired because they're saying, well, we're praying for years and the Creator never gives an answer. That's not really true. That's not really true, because you're praying for something, and then if you're not getting an answer, then you think, well, wait a minute, what's wrong with this prayer? Because there's something obviously missing. There's something missing in what I'm asking for. Okay, and that is the message we should get if we're not getting an answer. Okay, so a bit of patience, and we're going to have to work on it, and we're going to have to clarify it, and then you'll see that through all the work we're doing, we're actually building that prayer. And that's our job, to turn correctly to the Creator through the study and through our spiritual work. All right. But in any case, we've got to help the friends all the time by keeping a good framework, by being a good example, and helping them as best we can, and keeping them in our thoughts and prayers during the day as well. If I'm always thinking about the friends, I can be sure they're always thinking about me. All right. In the meantime, we're going to call it a night. It's 9 p.m. already. Now, that was fast and sweet, fast and furious Tuesday, I like to call this day. Have a great evening, and we'll see you guys next week.